Here's Tom's take.
Did you know Mitt Romney used to be the governor of Massachusetts? Probably not, because Mitt doesn't like talking about it. Instead, Mitt likes to talk about his time in the private sector as a businessman. In fact, Romney thinks being a businessman qualifies him to be president more than having been a governor does.
I spent my life in the private sector. I have not been employed by Washington. I've been employed in the private sector like you have. I want to use that experience to get America working again and solve the challenges of this great nation.
Basically, Mitt's argument is that it will take a businessman in government to get us out of this recession. And this is a message that seems to be resonating with typical frustrated, low-information voters who want a job, who subscribe to the belief that businesses and not consumers create jobs, and thus think that a businessman in the White House would do a heck of a job creating jobs. A new Washington Post ABC News poll finds that Romney is trouncing the president 58 to 32% among white voters who are struggling financially. The only problem is this whole more business in government idea has been tried before, several times, and every single time it ended with disastrous results. Take 1920, for example. Republican Warren Harding ran on a platform that was literally, these were his words, more business in government, less government in business. Harding lived up to his promise. He oversaw one of the most corrupt presidential administrations in American history. He rolled back regulations on Wall Street and protections for working people on Main Street. And his Treasury Secretary, Andrew Mellon, cut the top tax rate for people like Andrew Mellon, the multimillionaires, and business owners from 73% down to 25%. What followed was an enormous economic bubble that was mistaken for actual growth. They even called it the Coolidge prosperity in the mid-1920s. Coolidge was the president right after Harding, another Republican. But 9 years after Harding was elected, as Hoover came in, that economic bubble burst with the Republican crash of 1929. So more business in government led to a Great Depression. And then in 1980, Ronald Reagan came along. And he would have likely used Harding's same exact platform of more business in government, less government in business, had it not been badly tarnished. Instead, Reagan put in place basically the same exact policies as Harding had, rolling back labor protections, even single-handedly breaking up the Air Traffic Controllers Union, known as PATCO. He pushed deregulation like Harding did. He gave nearly an identical tax cut to the rich as Harding did. He cut top tax rate from 74% down to 28%. And just like Harding's policies led to an economic catastrophe within a decade, so did Reagan when the newly deregulated savings and loan industry collapsed in the late 1980s. Once again, more business in government, bad idea. Yet it was tried once again in 2000 when George W. Bush was elected president, the nation's first MBA president. Within a decade of a businessman moving into the White House, Bush's tax cuts and deregulation once again crashed our economy, putting us in the situation that we're in today. And now, after just 4 years of President Obama, Mitt Romney is running on the same platform that Harding, Reagan, and Bush all ran on. And all of them, with that platform, actually acting out that platform, eventually crashed our economy. It's simple. Running a government like a business, flat out doesn't work. Never has, never will. And there's a pretty simple explanation why that is. The Declaration of Independence spells it out. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men." What's the purpose of government? To secure our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's government. What's the purpose of a corporation? To secure profits. That's it. Corporations don't exist to secure the right to life. If they did, health insurance companies wouldn't be denying children with pre-existing conditions life-saving medical care to maximize their profits. Corporations don't exist to secure the right to liberty. If they did, private prison corporations like CCA wouldn't be lobbying for harsher drug and immigration laws to throw more Americans in jail to maximize profits. And corporations don't exist to secure the right to pursue happiness, or else they wouldn't screw their workers with low wages and crummy benefits that keep working people from ever joining the middle class or even being able to enjoy a vacation once in a while for a reasonable retirement. Simple fact is, securing our rights to life, liberty, and happiness is not all that profitable. And that's why we need government. And that's why Mitt Romney, who actually made a living destroying life, liberty, and happiness, is the head of a pirate equity firm, borrowing money to buy out businesses, fire the workers, and resell that company for a profit for himself and his buddies, doesn't know one damn thing about what it really takes to run a national government. Let's hope voters wake up to this fact and don't ever again make the same mistake that was made in 1920, 1980, and 2000. More business in government? Bad idea.